My name is Princess Moradon, and you are watching African Connect.
Hi, welcome to African Connect. My name is Omodede. Today we have the pleasure in speaking with an amazing woman, Princess by birth. So many people call her so many names, but I call her Mrs. Dion. How are you, ma'am?
I'm fine, thank you. It's a pleasure.
It is my pleasure. In sitting down, I have the honor in sitting down today and talking to you. Can you just please introduce yourself and tell us who is Mrs. Dion?
Like you said, so many people call me so many different things. I am Princess Moradon, but of course, when I came into Arkansas in 1985, I had the pleasure of meeting President Clinton at that time, and when he was governor of the state of Arkansas. And so the name Moradon, when it's shortened, is Deun, D-E-U-N. And so President Clinton, he thought it looks like a Dion. And so I sort of adopted that name from then on. So people in Arkansas know me as Princess Dion Ogulano. But my full name is Moradon Ogulano, Princess.
In your lifetime, you have done so much in reaching out to so many women in different countries, in different cultures. I want to know why this? What is the inspiration? What is driving you to do this?
Well, I always believe, my grandmother taught me at a very young age that, whatever you live your life, you definitely have to live it for more than what you just, not just for your looks. My life has to mean more than just the look, the way I look, and or the origin of the birthplace where I came from. So if we're doing anything in this world, then we're not reaching out to the less fortunate, then we're not really impacting. In this world, my goal is to impact the world, and in whatever form of fashion, whether in a small way or in a big way. And one thing that's so wonderful about this is that as a woman, we can reach so many, and yet we can reach our next door neighbor. So it's all up to us to just decide that we want to reach out, because we have to live this life knowing that we want to live more than what we came in with. Some people paved way for us to be here, so we have to pave way for the people that are coming behind us. And that's one of the things that I really believe very strongly in. My grandmother grounded it in us, and when I came to the US, I know that I wanted to really impact women's look. As far as I wanted to show them the beauty of Africa. Actually, that was my first goal of doing this, is to actually show the beauty of Africa. And then my grandmother passed away in 1997, and at that point, when we went for a funeral, I saw firsthand some of the things that was really impacting our women, especially in health, because we as women, we take care of so many people. We take care of everybody, really.
Absolutely.
And yet, we are the last person to take care of ourselves. So now, my goal now became to actually start advocating and really talking about us taking care of ourselves as well. Because if a woman is not happy, the whole world is not happy. Because one thing is that my late father, he just passed last year, Prince Richard Ogulano. He told me this. He said, when you educate a man, you educate an individual. But when you educate a woman, you actually educate the whole world, the whole nation, because women, we touch in so many different ways, even in the smallest way like this, that can actually transport into a huge thing. So that's one of the things I believe in, and we're just on that journey.
When you look at Africa today, the lack of medical care, the lack of hospital is so vast, it's so big that sometimes you look at Africa. Africa is a big continent still, and Africa is one of the richest. I would say Africa is the richest continent today, but still we don't have the major infrastructure in Africa. When it comes to women's health, especially, you see mothers dying out of bed. You see kids dying of HIV, even malaria. so many things. So what what do you see? Because I know you're working on so many things when it comes to healthcare right now. So what is that project that you're working on today, and how are you reaching out to this rural area, all these communities, to help them develop this healthcare system?
With the help of some great volunteers, we started African Women's Health Project International. Was a project that I founded in 2003. It's actually started way back when my grandmother passed, and we went for a funeral. From that moment, I saw firsthand a young boy that was about 7 years old. A young boy that was eating out of the sand, eating some leftover food. Because we went over there after we had just done the funeral, final burial ceremony, and we went over there we went to the beach to just go have a little picnic. And I'm coming from America with this big bright idea about, America is great, Africa is great, everything is dandy. Then I come over there and we were at the beach. We were sitting over there at the beach, and I saw this young boy, and he was eating sand and eating some of the leftover, some of the food that we had thrown away. He was eating all of it. And at the same time too, while he was eating it, he was putting some in his t-shirt. His t-shirt was all tattered. He was eating it, he was putting some in it. And the people that were sitting next to me, some of the locals, they are so used to seeing this. So they just shoot him away. And the little boy, once he saw that it was being seen, he just hurried away and just ran away. And then by this time like this, of course, my interest was captured. I looked and followed him. And he went to where his mother was. His mother was sitting there. Now, this woman had 6 other children with her. All of them under the age of 7. These are 6 children. He has the 6 children plus the boy. That's 7 years old. So you can just imagine from 9 to 0. In her hand, she had a little baby that she was feeding out of breast. She was wearing a clothes. She wasn't even wearing anything on the top. She just had a wrapper wrapped around her, and she had a baby that she was breastfeeding out of one breast, and the other breast was gangrene. I mean, you can see it. I think it was a pivotal moment in my life to see that the little baby was sucking out of this breast that had nothing. You can see it didn't really have much milk, but then she had this. The other breast was gangrene. It was oozing. And I think at that moment I knew that something had to be done. I knew that we cannot just continue as, pretty fashion. And I know that we had to get to the root of this, and we had to get to women. And in my journey, I found that we've seen women they've had 10 children. They've never even been to a doctor. They've never had a pap smear. We see little children dying of preventable disease, of preventable illness, things that they're so simple over here. Even from a cut, before you know it, it turns into something else. They're trying to self-medicate it. So we see a lot of these things happening with the women. So we know we have to definitely step in and try to see whatever we can do. My younger brother is a physician by trade. My older brother, all of them, they are all in the medical field. Even though, I'm more or less in the arts field, but I know that, I can, with my influence, we can gather all these physicians and all these medical folks, and whether not only physicians, but, nurses, we need everybody in all the medical, the health parasector to actually come in. And then we started, with going on medical missions into different nations. Wherever they invite us to come, we come over there. And that's how a lot of this thing started. It's just really just a woman seeing that something has to be done, we need to help with our fellow women. We've been in maternity wards whereby there was no electricity. And they had to leave the windows open while they were performing a C-section on a lady. So you can just imagine that.
I see when you were talking about that woman breastfeeding a child, I saw you tearing up. I know, because as a mother, I know you're a mother. As a mother, how do you see how has the mother would change your perspective when it comes to childbirth, when it comes to women lacking just a normal basic healthcare system that we don't have in Africa? How has that changed your perspective towards Africa?
I mean, just the basic necessity of life, especially for our mothers. Me, when I was like I told you, when I was young, I was more or less, I wanted to really show the beauty of Africa, and I was really, I mean, have had fashion shows on the road. I've trained models. I have models now that I trained in 1984, 5 in Arkansas, in the state of Arkansas, that are now physicians. They're now doctors. So some of them, they come to me and they go, Miss Dion, that's what they call me. But as a mother, you know that there are some things that these women that are on the other side of the world, on our side of the world, the things that are, we need to give voice to them. And that's one of the things that I know, that as a mother, I have to give voice to the other mothers all around the world. And so, and in whatever way we can do it, whether in a small way, or in a big way, whichever way it becomes. One of the reasons why we founded the African Women's Health Project International, I really made it women's health, is really so that we can really targeting to the women's health itself, and to actually promote and to actually help.
You know, talking about you being a mother, I know read it. I know that I read a story about you being an incredible woman that you are. You also adopted a young woman from Liberia. There was so many controversy. There were so many issues. You stepped in to really help this young girl from Liberia, because so many people, when we come back, when we come from Africa, America is like a safe haven for so many of us here, so many girls, so many boys. So tell us about what impact you made in this young girl's life. What made you to step in and adopt this young girl?
My adopted daughter, Eva Gustafson, when I met her, when they brought her case before me, it was a case of she was adopted when she was younger from Liberia. Like a lot of other young children that were adopted from Liberia, from an orphanage that's actually no longer in existence. But she was adopted from the orphanage and brought over here to a family in Murfreesboro in Arkansas. And I think it got to a point whereby this young lady, as she was growing, maybe developing or what have you, there were some issues whereby some untoward advances was made towards her by the host parents that brought her in here. And of course, this young lady, she just really wasn't going to have any of it. So she was very combative about it. And of course, then because she spoke out against it or whatever, they kind of label her as trouble and as even mentally challenged, so to speak. She was put in a psychiatric home. Then, well, of course, when I examined her, there was nothing wrong with her, of course. By this time, this young girl didn't want to go back to the host family that brought her in. So, so they put her in a foster home. And as by law in U.S., once you are 18 years old, you grow out of the system. So she's grown out of the system, and then there was no place to place her, and she doesn't know anybody in the state of Arkansas. She doesn't know anybody in America, period. She doesn't have anywhere. So our case workers, I think they brought the case before the governor's office. And at the governor's office, my friend Renee, she was one of the governor's advisors, and she's actually, she's she's passed on right now. So God rest her soul. But she was the one that told them to, okay, look for Dion. That, call Dion. She has African Women's Health Project International, and see what she can be able to do. And of course, immediately they called me from the governor's office and said, well, we've been referred to come to call you from the governor's office to see what you can do with this young African girl that's in the state of Arkansas that's already grown out of the system. What can we do with her? So I said, well, any African child that's in the state of that's here is a child of mine, you know. So bring her to me. She's a girl. So and then so we had to go to the court. I had to go to court and write letters on her behalf. I had to work with our caseworker to be able to get her released into my system. So she now became my daughter and brought her home with me. She started living, because I have 3 other girls. I have 3 girls of my own. So it was just a perfect fit. And so everybody that knows me in the state, they know about Eva, my other daughter. So and one thing that I found out was that when Eva came to me, she was at our education level was at the 5th grade level. This girl was already 18 years old. The whole time she was brought over here, she wasn't going to school. She wasn't having any proper education because, you know, because of one trouble or the other, because she was resisting some of the things that was being presented to her. You know, she wasn't allowed to go to a lot of things, to do a lot of things. So I had to now start mentoring her, and then of course I put her with, I got in touch with the Job Corps, and then I enrolled her in the Job Corps, and 2 years ago she was able to graduate with a diploma, high school diploma from Job Corps in Little Rock, Arkansas. So a great big thanks to the Job Corps people too that helped her. And even incidentally, while we were at Job Corps, this was one of the things that really even it moved the people at Job Corps themselves. We were the first, when I tried to enroll her at school, she was like, "Mom, I don't really want to go over there." I said, "Let's go. This will help you because, you know, they can put you in a structured environment and you can really learn." And when we got over there to the Job Corps, for the Job Corps interview, this was our orientation. They were showing us around the campus. And so we were walking. She was right next to me. We were walking like this. And as we were walking, we were at there was a TV screen, and it has a name, and the name has Faith Gustafson. And she goes, I know Faith. We were in this, you know, that's my sister. I'm like, okay. I'm like, she's, you know, when she first saw it, she just saw Faith. So she said, that sounds like my sister. And when they now took us on a tour, we were walking around the campus. We were on the going around the campus like this. And we had a big voice that goes, Eva. She turns around like this, and there was Faith. Her sister, she hasn't seen her in years. The last time they had seen each other was in Liberia. And of course, you can just imagine what happened the next time. She was standing there. The girl saw her like this from afar. And you know, one of the rules at Job Corps, you can't run on the campus. You're not supposed to run. You're not supposed to do anything. And of course, when the girl yelled, Eva, and she turned around like this and saw the girl, they sprinted across the grass walk, you know, to each other like this and hug each other in the middle of the grass. These are some of the no-nos you're not supposed to do at Job Corps. But she was just screaming. She hasn't seen her sister in years. You know, of course, the officials over there, they came out because, you know, they just broke some rules right there. Then they came like this, and I said, and as they came towards them like this, I said, you all don't know what you all are seeing right here. I said, this girl was brought into this country years ago, and she hasn't seen her sister. And for them to now come and meet at Job Corps. So, you know, you see stories like that. It just really, she connected with her sister, and the sister finished ahead of her a few months, and of course, they went to, it's just really beautiful. Those are some of the stories about connecting and how this world, even though it's so big, you know, we're such a global village.
I'm going to give you something to clean up your tears because she's tearing up right now.
Oh, okay. Where's my makeup? Okay.
I can see you tearing up. Because there are so many girls like Eva, your daughter, who come from Liberia, who come from Ghana, who come from Congo, who come from Nigeria, with the hopes and dreams of making the American dream. In the hopes of when I get to America, I'm going to make something out of myself. I'm going to be protected.
Yes.
So hearing a story like that, like she came here for the same dream that we all come here for, to make our life better, and she didn't even have the opportunity to go to school.
Yes.
You can tell that it's not just America alone that you see people are just human beings are changing these days. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's not just in Africa. It's everywhere. But that's why I said before that you have inspired me so much, and you keep inspiring me. That's why you have so many tons of awards, which we are going to talk about later. But we're talking about girls. You know what is going on in Nigeria, the Chibok girls, and it's been almost a year now. It's been almost a year now that so many mothers like you don't even know where their kids are. Don't even know if they sleep at night, where they sleep at night. These girls are just 11, 15 years old. And we are in the middle of politics, right? We're in the middle of an election right now. And there is nothing still have been done over this. How do you advise a president, I don't know, whoever that is coming to power, as a mother, what will you say to that president that is coming?
One of the things, one of the basic human rights for citizens, and one of the things that the government is supposed to provide for its citizens is security and protection. I mean, that's the reason why we put you all in places, in position to do this. Now, the girls, when they were taken in April of last year, immediately that event, that incident happened, the government should have, of course, sprinted into action to combat this. Now, one of the, everything is, they should have done this, they should have done that. But right now, what we need to do right now, we need to go about bringing those girls back home. I don't care how it is, how they go about it. Now, one of the things, it's so hard, they try to mix the missing girls with politics. It's not, you cannot mix the two together. This is a human rights issue. This is the right of the young ladies to be able to live a life that is free of oppression. Now, this goes beyond politics. I don't care who comes, whoever comes into power, great. The current administration, I know they're trying to do something, but they're not doing enough, or they don't have the capacity to do enough that we need to be able to bring those girls back, because if they had, those girls will be home by now. So we need even if international governments and international help can come about it to bring those girls back.
In English, which is like okay to speak, which is like, when I not say this woman too much,
Too much.
This woman they call a woman. The Urbanicoro of Lagos herself. So how you want to tell your people say a castle na babayo?
A castle and babayo. Kabiesio. Thank you very much.
Now that one you want to say them.
Kabies,
I say you want to talk to them with your language small.
Okay, well, it's been a pleasure being on your show.
I want to hear Yoruba.
Yoruba. You don't even want me to even go into the story about how I had to speak before the Obas. And the only language you could speak before them is actually speak in Yoruba. And
so that's what we want you to speak. That's what I want you to speak.
Ẹ ṣé gan ni o, inú mi dùn láti wá sí orí program yìí. And lágbára Ọlọ́run, gbogbo nǹkan tí à ń fọwọ́ sí á dà sí rere. Ẹ ṣé gan ni o, mo dúpẹ́ fún host mi tó gbé mi wá sórí program yìí. Thank you so much. Ṣé gan ni o, mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ẹ. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you so much for joining us for another wonderful episode of African Connect. I still remember your host on Monday, shedding the spotlight on a woman that I love to call my own. Wonderful, wonderful, amazing. She's going to adopt me someday.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you for joining us. Stay blessed.